Well, hello, hello. So, here I am in Georgia. It's nice to have this mirror to check my appearance so that I can be exactly the way I want to be. It's very important to me to look just so, as you can tell. I was going to cut my hair because the ends of it are getting thin. And it's thick down to there, and then it really starts to thin. I think that's because I had it thinned years ago when it was short. I didn't ever want to have it thin, but sometimes it happens. Hello, hello. So I'm down here in Georgia. I'm writing about it on Facebook all the time. Nancy Today has two A's. You can friend me if you want, but you have to prove you're not a bot. Because if you look like a bot, I won't friend you. Because the bots, these fake accounts, they have, if you go into them, you'll see that the profile picture has been like there's probably several profile pictures or maybe just one, but you won't find any pictures of family and friends, and then the posts are very scant. There's not a lot of comments on any posts, and there might not be any posts anyway, so I have to be careful. And I've learned from hard experience that if you click on something that somebody sends you, like a link in Messenger, it could be a virus, so, or something like that. Hey, you know what I heard somebody had they used an antivirus on their computer, and every time they would go on their computer, they would get hacked. And it took quite a while before they realized that it was the antivirus program that was hacking and doing all these things. Anyway, so how are you tonight? I haven't been able to talk to you for quite a while because I can't do it with just data. I have to have Wi-Fi. Anyway, so I've been working at my mom's house. There was a estate sale on Saturday, and then people came and picked things up the next day. A few more things today. And today I went through all the boxes in the basement that I hadn't gone through yet. They were boxes of papers, and there was a bin of photo albums. It was amazing to see photo albums. And it was like the whole reason I had come down was now realized because I had found what was in those boxes. It's pretty important stuff there. Hi, Patricia. Anyway, I went for a walk around the block. It's a very steep area. My mom's house is in Beechwood, and it's like that, a hillside that all these roads are on, and then there's the river is all along the bottom. So we were along the river. Sometimes I will see something and it'll just make me burst out crying. Surprising how close to the surface my emotions are. Even thinking about some things. I think it was seeing pictures of my mom when she was working. She was a secretary, and so sometimes people would take photos of her sitting in her office. Yeah, Allison, I agree. And when I see the photos, I remember things, and the photos are so cool. It is kind of an interesting journey, a healing journey, I guess. I've never really felt very kinship to the property and my house. Well, yeah, the property, the backyard, the river and stuff. I always spent my time down there. You know what? I had a nervous breakdown when Ben was 2. And I guess that was in 1980 or 82 or anyway, something like that. And I found this letter that my mom had written but not sent to the psychiatrist that was in charge of my case. And I don't know if you can tell, but I was, hi Scotty D. When I grew up, I was hyperactive and I didn't listen, and I also couldn't hear because I had so much wax in my ears, so much congestion. My mother fed me milk 3 times a day, and it wasn't until I stopped drinking milk and dairy products that I got rid of all that ear infection stuff, and used to get colds in the back of my head. Anyway, I don't do that anymore. Thank goodness. I had a leg cramp today. I took myself out to eat tonight. There's this awesome restaurant in Athens. It's called Tlaloc. I have no idea how you say it. Tlaloc. Anyway, it was, I couldn't believe how much food there was. It was like $11 or something, and there was a whole plate full of beans and rice and salad. And then there was another huge plate with the vegetables. I just ordered vegetables. And you know what was in it? Cactus. There was something I ate, and I thought, wow, that's different. That was like, had a little bit of sliminess like okra does. And I was kind of perplexed. What is this? And it turned out, oh, you're watching me make pea soup? Pea soup is hard because peas don't cook very fast. Where was I? Oh well, on to another topic. So today I went for a walk around the block with the neighbor, and 3 times we saw deer. My fingernails are so dirty looking. I guess it has something to do with all the work I'm doing in that dirty house. But you know, I went through the whole house. I washed the windows and I've swept all the floors. But I think I need to mop the upstairs floor. As you come up the stairs, you can see the floor pretty clearly, especially in the evening. I guess there was a bit of a shine on it. I think I should damp mop them. They're wooden floors. They're very beautiful wooden floors. All my life I was told, don't scratch the floor. So I put all the furniture that I'm going to take. Wait a minute, you don't know anything about what's going on. Slimy cactus. It's, what's that big kind? Prickly pear. When I lived in Jamaica among the Rasta back when I was 17, a traveler in Jamaica, if you needed to use shampoo, you would cut the cactus in half lengthwise and then rub the inside of it, rub it on your hair, and that was shampoo. I have no idea if it got my hair clean because, of course, I let my hair go to dreadlocks. So they were kind of all knotted up, and it was very hard to tell. It's kind of an unusual color, isn't it? It's kind of not very shiny. It doesn't look very healthy. Dull. Looks old. Oh well, it goes with the rest of me. So when I was in Mexico, there were these things, the flowers that grow on the prickly pear cactus that are red, and they would make, I don't know, the cheese is in the name of it. I never had it, but I thought it was interesting. Hi, Cole. So today and yesterday evening it got cold in Georgia. It was kind of neat. Last night I was in the house carrying garbage bags and a garbage can full of stuff to the dumpster, which is in the yard. It's a huge dumpster, and dumping it over the side. Because if I leave the door open, then stuff blows out. I don't want papers everywhere again. I already picked them up, but when I went out there, and it was brisk, very brisk, and I didn't really notice it until I looked up and saw how brilliant the stars were. Athens, or the neighborhood, Beechwood, is kind of an interesting place. It's on a hill. It's on the hillside, which goes down to the river, and and it comes up and it kind of plateaus and then goes up again. And so when you, why am I telling you about that? It was really hard to ride a bicycle there when I grew up. That was difficult. I'd have to walk it most of the way up to the top of Beecham, and then I wouldn't go down River Hill. My parents always went around River Hill, but it was really steep, and then it leveled out. Beecham was more gradual, and so as kids we walked that way to school. Hello, hello, simply twee beings. Do I remember your real name? I don't remember who you are, but I've seen your thing many times. Thank you. So as I was going through those 30 boxes today, I got to the end of them. Well, should I really say that? I mean, there are some that have cards in them, and the cards have written on cards in them. So it's a little bit, oh, hi. Yes, yes, yes. Nice to see you again. I went over to Dina's yesterday. She's one of, I forget her name, something about cat yarn or something. And it was really good to see her. It's amazing, I met her on YouTube. Oh, she met me. And she was one of my first people that commented. And so I went over to see her yesterday. Hi, Renee. And it was so nice to see her because, she knows me. When you're traveling and you're far away and nobody you know knows you, it can be taxing, especially if you're in if you're not completely on top of everything. If you've got different things happening in your life, then it's nice to be with people that know you. And so it was really good to go see her. It was really wonderful. She's such a good friend. And you know what she told me? Yeah, we have. Yeah. Oh, is that Emily? No, you said you're Teresa. Yeah, you know Janet and what's his name? My friend. It's so cool when I meet you guys in person. I met Janet. She lives up in the mountains near Echoey State Park. She lives up in Georgia in the Appalachian Mountains. And one year I went up and I visited with her and I said, well, I think I should go. I should leave tomorrow. And she said, why? Oh, you do know them. Do you know them in person or on here? They're wonderful. Emily came over yesterday and helped me, the day before the sale, I guess that was Friday. She came over and she helped bring all the boxes of books that I was going to take up out of the basement. I'm so glad she did all that because they were all over the stairs. And the next day we had the sale, the estate sale, which is where they came in the house and had a yard sale. Look at all of you well-trained people with your 3 thumbs ups. I love you guys. It's really nice to talk to you. And on here, when you do it live, you get to actually interact a little bit with the people. Did you see the one with Desmond where he was saying, ask me a question. Come on, ask me a question. Anything. I don't have much data because I'm in the United States and oh, thank you. That was very nice of you. Yeah, that was very nice. Yeah, Emily came over and she emptied the refrigerator, which was jam-packed with things, and all the dates on them all were like 2016. I had filled the freezer. I'd go shopping for my mom. And then I left, and my mom died 2 months later. And anyway, so the fridge was still full of all that. My brother never really ate any of the frozen food, I guess. He was a great chef. He liked to cook. But life had thrown him a curveball. And these curveballs, he says that God won't give you more than you can handle. But sometimes you're right at the edge. Hey, you know what happened tonight? I took myself out to eat. I told you that, right? I went to this most wonderful Mexican restaurant, Tlaloc, in Athens. It's on North Chase Avenue. If you can go there, go there. They're so nice there. The girl was showing me what the pictures were, and she put her hand on my shoulder, and it was the most comforting thing to just have that light touch. It was just really, I didn't realize how, because I'm never really starved like this. Like when you go far away and you don't know anybody, and of course I have had a lot of people that have come and helped me and given me hugs, and I'm so grateful for everybody. I'm really grateful that Bob and Lynn are letting me stay in their house. I don't come back here until late because I'm trying to get so much done. It's amazing, isn't it, the power of human touch? Anyway, but I come back here late, and I'm so grateful that they let me stay here. It's saving me, what, $100 a day or something? Anyway, I was going to tell you, I went out to eat at Tlaloc, and as I was leaving, just before I was going to get up, I got a leg cramp, and it's not just one muscle. It was like three muscles. The inner leg and down. I'm not sure how much it was below in the lower leg. I think it was mostly in the upper leg, and I can trace that right back to eating Fritos, salted Fritos. If I eat that, a salt would just cause me to have cramps. I think I'm not getting enough water, but I've been trying to drink water. Yeah, oh, it's so painful. But what I did, this is why I was going to tell you about it, is I got up. It was really hard to stand up, and it was hard to walk out of there. I was really limping and leaning on furniture as I went out. I mean, I really looked my age or older. I'm so glad I can walk again, It's so amazing to have my body and to have so much energy. Anyway, so I had this leg cramp, and I had to get to my car, and so I'm kind of limping and bending over a bit, and I'm in really a lot of pain. And it's like, how can you be in this much pain in public? This is, but I couldn't straighten my leg up. I couldn't stretch my leg. I couldn't, everything seemed to make it worse. But I found a position. If I kind of hunched over a little bit and only, moved it so much in such a direction, it didn't hurt so much. And then it got really bad. Well, and I said, I knew. The first prompting, the first thought that came in my mind was, distract yourself. And so I started singing, "The Lord is my shepherd," and I linked my arm through his, and then I said "Feliz cumpleaños" to somebody that was in the parking lot. There's a whole gang, and they were all hugging each other, and they had just sung it to them in the restaurant. It's a really cozy little restaurant. It's like a cafe, wooden tables and booths. I just love that place. I had no idea you get enough food to feed 3 people. And I had cactus too. So the thing I learned, when I had babies and I had labor, I did all my breathing exercises. You're supposed to ride the wave of the contraction. So you would, as it begins, you would take a cleansing breath, and then you would just breathe slowly, and you would just pay total attention to your breathing, and you'd get through it. And then when it gets harder, like during transition, when you had so much pain, then you're panting, go hi, 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 and that would distract you enough. Yeah, great old days, eh? 5 times. Actually, I only went through it twice. 3 times I got epidurals. That was so cool. I'm so glad. Well, it doesn't matter anymore, but at the time I was really glad to just be able to play cards or something with Willem and not have to worry about labor. It was amazing. It's just amazing. Anyway, so I figured that I didn't remember to breathe. I remembered I had to think about something else. So I thought about my other foot that didn't hurt, and I tried to feel the feeling in my other foot, which distracted me. And I sang as I walked across the parking lot. Yeah, good idea. And if you go to a hospital where they do like 2,000 a year, then they do it exactly right. They know exactly where to do it. They don't puncture your vertebrae or your nerves or anything. But if you go to a hospital that just does a few a year, you know, it's kind of risky. Anyway, and by the time I got to the car, it wasn't gone. I started to walk around the car, and it was kind of bad. And then this gang of people came out, and I they were all congratulating or whatever. And so I said, "Feliz cumpleaños," and they laughed and whatever. But after that, the pain had gone. It was enough distraction to be completely focused on something else. Like you can trick yourself and try to focus on something else, but you really know it's in the back of your mind. But when I'm actually talking to other people, well, then it completely distracted me. But you know, it sort of leaves you, you feel vulnerable once you've had you know, they come on so suddenly and they're so strong and they hurt so much, and there's really not much you can do to relieve it. And if you can distract yourself, that's the best thing. But you have to completely distract yourself. And sometimes walking isn't enough distraction, or singing or anything, you know. But anyway, I got through it. It went away. But it was because I had actually had to put myself in that girl's, in her shoes. You know, it's her birthday. We're in a Mexican restaurant. I don't know if she was Mexican or if she was, well, she was a white girl, I think. Is it okay to call somebody a white girl? I don't know. She was Caucasian. Anyway, so I don't know if she, but she laughed and said thank you. But that did it for me, right? It took my pain away. And then after that, now I'm really careful. I don't want to do anything good. I don't want to do anything that will cause it to come back, you know? So I'll just keep distracting myself, hopefully. And I took a shower. I was going to take a bath, but I thought, well, I'll take a shower and then I'll sit in the hot bath when I finish the shower instead of standing there waiting for it. But they have, I was watching the shower come down. And it was like they have all these little gaps between the water. So it's start and stop and start and stop. And so it didn't really get that much water. And so by the time I had finished my shower, I still only had about that much water in the bathtub. Do you really? Well, somebody said that bananas are good. Then somebody else says, no, it's magnesium, not potassium. But anyway, so it got cold here. And it felt so good when I went out to the dumpster the other night and I looked up at the stars and it was crystal clear and I could see Orion. You know, there's in the city, you know, there's street lights here and there, so you really don't get a whole view of the sky at all. Not like out in the woods where I live, when you get a million. Uh-oh, now I'm warm enough. It's good to be warm. It was potassium. See, I've been taking magnesium for so long. They have 2 bananas here. I'm going to go ask for one. It was fun to take myself out to eat. I needed to go and just be around a lot of people and relax and be online and eat. It's hard to find things that you can eat when you've got to be gluten-free and dairy-free and all these free things. But they have corn tortillas, right? And beans, rice. It was really tasty rice, but rice will make me hurt. And the salsa, I guess there's cilantro in the salsa. I'm getting a taste for cilantro because I made that Thai, what was that called? It was a Thai curry, some kind of a sauce. And I made it by crushing up all these different things. Time for bed, though. Good night. Are you here locally? I mean, how do you know those guys? Is it because of here and on the videos and you both comment and you see each other and meet each other and now you're friends? Or do you live here? Anyway, it was great to go see her yesterday. I went over there. She now has moved, lives nearer to where I am, and she's got a nice, beautiful house. It's 2:21 there. Let's see. 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. That's 5 hours. So let's see. Is that England? Europe somewhere, right? 5 hours. It's usually 6 hours, but then when we do daylight savings time, do you do daylight savings time? How does that work if we do it and you don't? I guess it's just you're 5 hours instead of 6. How is it in Europe today? Is it lovely? You know, in England, it rains a lot, I guess, and it's probably pretty cold and damp. Scotland. Oh, that's right. I know that, Scotty. Is that why your name is Scotty? Is that a nickname? Is that because you live in Scotland? It's chilly. And is it raw? It goes through you? You know, it was kind of chilly and cold here and rainy. But then last night it was frozen. And I went out this morning. There was this rug that had been outside that had been gotten rained on. And it was too heavy to throw over the dumpster. Oh, it is Scott. Duh. Is that because did your parents name you Scotty because they lived in Scotland? Is that a common name over there? You know, it's amazing how different names are in different countries. You know, like I have my relatives my in-laws in Holland. Their names are Atie, A-T-I-E, and Ton, T-O-N, and Loot, L-O-U-2, and Ineke, I-N-E-K-E. Yeah, it would be common there, right? Anyway, and I think, you know, you don't realize how different people's names are in different countries. But, you know, you're hard-pressed to find any of the old common names anymore. You know, like Nancy and Susan and Mary and Martha. And, you know, my grandmother's name was Myrtle, but everybody called her Georgie. Can you imagine if Myrtle was your first name? Myrtle Lualis. Actually, I think it's a nice name. Crepe Myrtle, Myrtle Beach. Myrtle's not a bad name, but for some reason, you know, we all decide names we don't like. But now, my kids' generation, my kids have very practical names like Virginia, Ben, Daniel. Of course, Abraham is not very common, but I really like the name Abraham. I found pictures of my children when they were little, like Daniel. It was so cute seeing, and I remember these pictures, you know. Lida, Daniel, and Abraham, they're my little people. Now they're all grown up. It was really neat, though, to see these pictures of my little children. Years and years and years ago. 62 years. No, that would be when I was 2. Let's see. Well, anyway, a long time ago. Oh, yes, their age. That's how long ago. 28 or something. How old are my kids now? Oh, well, they're getting up there. It's very interesting. I remember when I was taking care of my mom, and she was 80, and I guess I was 60, and I told her I was 60, and she was just flabbergasted. How could you be 60? It was so interesting today to read the letters that I had written home and the things that she had written about me. Oh, I even found a postcard from my grandmother to me. Like, that was really cool. She wrote a letter to me. My grandmother, you know, I mean, she wasn't kind of a person that played with children. She was a very high society woman that was very cultured and well-mannered and well-respected, the wife of a prominent doctor in the town. She didn't really play with us. I mean, she had a cookie jar full of cookies, but she never did something like play hide and seek with us. Of course, there were six grandchildren. There were the 3 of us, Cynthia, Nancy, and Charles. And there were the 3 of them, Heather, Robbie, and Celinda. And that was really it's fun. When we would go to the grandma's at Christmas, we'd go up to Tall Trees, which is in upstate New York, Pine Plains area. Pulver's Corners is the closest town. It's on Bean River Road. Isn't that cool that I now know where it is? It was hard to figure it out because at one time I could find it, but then it got harder. But now I remember again. I had to ask the locals, and people really didn't know. People weren't old enough to know. But I found it. Anyway, so we would all get together there. Oh, and I found a picture of Toto. Toto was our black retriever. No, black Labrador retriever, or Labrador. Anyway, and we lived in Teaneck, which was an hour, 100 miles from Pine Plains, or Tall Trees. And we had this dog, and and I guess when we moved to Georgia, that's probably when they got the dog. Yeah, because we didn't take the dog to Georgia. We gave it to my grandparents, and they had it in New York. I found pictures of my dad in the Navy, and my brother was a sergeant and a corporal. I don't know which is more a higher rank, probably a sergeant. Anyway, I don't know. But anyway, he was. I found pictures of that, and I found letters he'd written home, and I found, we used to take an old like a round Quaker oatmeal box or container. We used to do all kinds of things with them. We would put a hole in the top, put a yarn in there, and pull the yarn through the hole in the top, and we would wallpaper it. What's that called? Use wallpaper. But anyway, we would put paper around the edge of it, make it look pretty, and on the lid. Anyway, and so in one of these, in one of these boxes, I found this old oatmeal container, and it was full of letters, and they were all put together with paper clips, like according to who it was. They were all stuffed in this thing. It was very interesting. They were all to my sister, and I didn't read them, but the addresses were and sometimes my sister was living in Athens, and sometimes she was in California, or different places. But it was interesting to read these letters. What I did read. I didn't read many, but they were all kids, And I found my old schoolwork. We always kept things like if you got an A on a test or an essay or something, you would keep it. Oh, all these little treasures of my life, all these little things I did when I was younger, and I even found a picture of myself holding my puppy. My dog had puppies one day, and we were very enthralled with these puppies. So different down there now. It's not my home. Yeah, it's been very interesting. It's hard to go in an empty house. It's been pretty empty for 3 years and vacant, and there hasn't been any rodent killer down or anything. But I did leave when Luann left the other day. She left a bag that had 3 muffins in it. I'll go back. The day after I went down and cleaned it out in the very beginning in October, we had had a chunk of cheese, and it was on the table, and I didn't bring it with us when we went to the hotel that night. When I got back in the morning, there was this huge hole in the middle of it. But we had these muffins that have been sitting there for a couple of days in a plastic bag on the counter. Nothing has touched them. So we put down a lot of mouse and cockroach traps and or killer stuff, and I never found any mice. I don't smell any dead mice. Maybe we didn't put down mice killer. But anyway, seems to be gone. Nice, eh? I closed up alongside the air conditioner in the living room. It had, those things you pull out that close the window, close the cold out. Well, it wasn't closed out. They don't last forever. and so it was broken and ripped or something and missing. And there was on the inside windowsill, it was quite black, like a lot of traffic through there. So I was moving a cutting board, and it slipped out of my hand and it fell on the ground. And they're just pieces of wood that are put together or glued together sometimes, or maybe not glued. Probably glued. Anyway, it fell on the floor and it broke into 6 pieces. And they were like the perfect sizes because the window that's up at the top of the air conditioner, you push the window up to close it. Well, this one slides back down. So there's this gap all the way across there and then down by the sides. And it's not going to keep the house warm. I'm glad that the electricity is still on. Hi, Jimmy Pool 3. I saw an interesting license plate today. I forget what it was. I found license plates of my father's from his old cars. If you need to have passwords, you can always find a license plate, your neighbor's license plate or your kid's license plates or your own or something, and that becomes a password, or you put 2 of those together and make a password. It kept getting hacked and you have to keep changing your password. Now I'm making designs on my keyboard. Anyway, those passwords are kind of a problem, aren't they? Oh, so this house, I don't dare bring food into it and leave it there or put it down anywhere. I really should just clean all the surfaces, but that's a lot of work. And right now there's all this stuff sitting on the surfaces, like all the pots and pans and everything. They're all sitting out because of the sale. There's nothing in the cupboards really, except turds and things that have been ruined by the animals. Anyway, so I was emptying some of the drawers into the garbage. So at home, we've had all this melting and freezing and ice and such. And it turns out that the snowblower is frozen into the ground. That happened with the extension cord to the camper. I couldn't plug in the camper because the extension cord was under about 1 inch of ice. And I was worried that if I hammered at it and chipped away at it, I would end up cutting the cord, right? So anyway, I never did. But Willem, when they got a foot of snow, that dirty underneath there, isn't it? Yeah. I cut them real short. I thought that'll do it. You'd think that after a shower that makes your fingers all wrinkly. No, Mary has the bug, the VW bug, up in Connecticut. In fact, I did a video on it once. So it's under Nancy Today somewhere. It'll be Ankie, Ankie, or VW Bug or something. That was the car I learned how to drive. But I did find the keys for it, several copies of the key. And I also found the skeleton keys, and there's a bag of keys. I don't know if one of them will fit the trunk, but I had leaned against the trunk, Cindy's trunk I brought home to Canada, and it locked it. Yeah, I think I do like driving long distances. Yeah, like I want to go see Becky. As soon as I finish going through the papers and get rid of most of everything in the house except what I'm taking home. Yeah, it was interesting. Well, it had a fire in the back of it, the VW. And the inside, the seats are all kind of torn up, and it's nothing like it was when it was a brand new little car, and I rode in it to school every morning, and then I learned to drive in it and drove it around. No, that one's in Connecticut, but my mom had 2 other cars, which Buster now has. That's kind of neat because Buster, I don't know how old that yellow car was. Anyway, probably back from when we were young enough that he lived across the road. But anyway, now he's the proud owner of those cars. It's amazing how much help I've gotten here. You know, I just have to ask somebody and they'll help me. It's so amazing. And people, like this one lady, very nice lady, lives down the bottom of the hill, and she's Dutch, and she drops in every day to see how I'm doing, and you know, I show her around and show her. I washed all the windows because it was so bad in there. It was just like being in a, you know, a shack or a barn or somewhere where people don't really go. And I washed all the windows, and man, did that change it. And then I swept all the floors, and that changed it again. That was good. And then we had the sale, and things got all tracked through. And so then afterwards, I guess it was yesterday. I don't usually work on Sundays. I'm supposed to be having a day of rest. But I swept all the rooms out. Yeah, I still have clothes in all those 4-bedroom closets. We never threw away my dad's clothes when he died. Nothing. And so there are 2 closets that have his suits. One has his suits, and one has a lot of white shirts and things like that. I have to go through them and check them and see what size they are, and if they're not a suitable size, then they get bagged up and they'll go to the Salvation Army. I've been trying to get everything done sort of in time. Like these people were going to come today. I found a family in need, or I thought they looked like a family that might be in need. And I invited them over to take everything they wanted. And so they took a whole bunch of stuff. I think that the dad might have a shop to sell things, which is just great, as long as they took them. And they were going to come back over today and get some more stuff. So that was 2 days they already came. They were going to come back, and I asked him if he could help me get some of the stuff out of the basement into the dumpster. So they were going to come at 3, and they didn't show. They didn't come at all. But it's okay, because I spent all that time working on the sorting through the papers. There was a scrapbook of my grandmother's, and there were pictures of my mom when she was young and not too young. Yeah, I don't have pictures of her when she was a little girl so much. But when she was in university, she went to Mary Washington College. So one trip I took down to Georgia, I stopped in there and I took lots of photos. And then when I got there, I showed her all the photos to see if she remembered things. But it has all changed, you know. Because that was in about 1945 or something, or 49. No, she was born in 1927. Where was I going with that? Oh, with the year. Oh, yeah. They probably didn't take millions of pictures back then because it cost to develop them, right? Hey, you know, these are new glasses, and I have a scratch on them. Already. What does it say? Don't go away. Yahoo! Caught you live. Hit from Illinois. Hey, so did you get a lot of snow? Like Willem got a foot of snow yesterday. And the snowblower is frozen into the ground, and then it's in that soft shed, and so the soft shed front was also frozen to the ground. So he had to bring out hot water and thaw out the front of the shed so he could lift the tarp and open and get. But the snowblower is frozen in, so he didn't do that. So he ended up So he ended up shoveling the whole thing. So it stopped snowing on Saturday sometime, and Sunday morning he's off to church. He had shoveled the lane and he'd shoveled the deck. Isn't that amazing? Oh, great guy. But I'd rather he use a snowblower because I don't want him having a heart attack. Shoveling snow is... it's a known cause of heart attack. Did you know that? Yes, it's not just what you eat, it's what you do. It's also just what you think. I had a heart attack when I was stressing out about my father. was interesting today as I walked through the house that I remember, well, when I stood on the stairs at this point and, there was a significant thing that happened. And then I remember climbing out on the roof to hide, but wasn't successful. You had to come back in. And just different things in different places in my house. I used to hide in the closets with my friends, just play it. The closet, it's a walk-in closet. I didn't realize it is quite a big closet behind the linen closet, between the bathroom and the bedroom. And it's got shelves on one side, but there's two shelves that are sloped, and they've got a little ridge along them, so it's for your shoes. It's quite a cool thing to have. And there's also, at the top where there's that thing. Oh, I have to go this way. That's hard to make my arm. It's not straight. I have to go this way. Anyway, up at the top, there's this, what's that thing called? The trim? There's a piece of trim that's a couple inches below the top trim, and that's a picture rail. So you have these rounded hooks with a thing on the bottom, and then of course you see all the wires because it's hanging from there. So my son has a big basement, 1,700 square feet. So he wanted me to go ahead and rent a truck and tow the car, or come fly back and get the car. I don't think I want to fly back. That's a lot of trouble because I had to fly to the airport, and the car will not be at the airport. It'll be in Athens, and I have to take a $100 shuttle to get from I guess it's $45 to get from the airport to Athens to get my car. Or I could park my car down there near the airport, and, well, it's all just very confusing. It's better to just tow it. And so I gathered all the furniture into the dining room. Cleared all the dining room stuff out. There was a table over in the corner with the trinkets on it, and a chair with linens or tablecloths and things on it, and the table had miscellaneous dishes on it. Anyway, so I cleaned all that off and got that extra table out, and that room has never looked so nice. Nothing in the room at all except the table and the buffet, the table and the china cabinet. But anyway, so I brought everything down, or I had, Buster and his family were there yesterday getting stuff out of the house. People had bought things like the china cabinets and the piano and the wheelchair, different things. Lots of stuff is gone, especially after those people came yesterday and the day before and got bags and bags of stuff. And afterwards I bagged up all this stuff around the edge and put it in the, take to the Salvation Army. What was I talking about? I was talking about the chair rail. That was a long time ago. I forget. Oh well. I even went in the laundry room and I pulled down boxes that were way up high. There's so much stuff in the house that I had never ever seen. I was really lucky that other people had gone through and found all this stuff and pulled it out. Things kept showing up. Things kept showing up from the basement and other places that I'd never seen. It was hard to pull the garbage bins around the house and up to the bin, but I did it. It was kind of, you really have to open the door of the trailer and walk it in there, or the dumpster, but it's a pretty big step from the ground to the trailer, or what's it called, a dumpster. We used to call them a Dipsy dumpster. and all day I kept finding old things like instructions, care instructions for the iron, and just millions of things. And it reminded me of these posts you see. If you know what this is, raise your hand or something. Anyway, there were things like that I saw. My dad had a telephone on his desk upstairs, and it plugs into the wall, and it has big buttons. I decided that I should take that, because those portable phones, as good as they are, if your power goes out, you don't have a phone. I mean, and because your cell phone will die after a while too if your power goes out. Unless you can go somewhere to charge it or have a charging pack already ready. Look at all those wrinkles. Just be warned, if you lose weight, this could happen to you. Look at my mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many wrinkles can I make? If I smile, I make a lot of wrinkles too. Look at all those wrinkles. And there's probably crow's feet up there too. That's one thing about losing weight. You're going to get wrinkles. Wrinkles or Botox, I guess. I guess it'll just have to be wrinkles. It goes with my mouth, It surrounds my mouth, which is full of problems in there, Even my denture looks like I have a broken tooth. Anderson, South Carolina is where I got my dentures. I wonder if I should just go up there and have them make dentures again and get a new one. If I could do that. I should do it before I have that truck and have to do it, or have to go by there. So once I've got the truck, it's like $100 a day, or I don't know what it is, a U-Haul truck, and I'm not sure what size I need. But I have everything in that one room, in the dining room. And so I have I can see, if I turn this upside down and put those on top of it, and, if I put this beside it, and, I'm figuring out, I can fill the china closet, the china cabinet, all the bottom and the drawer and all the top with the glass. I thought I would fill the top part with, since it's glass, I thought I would fill it with clothes I'm going to take. And the dressers, they can all be filled with all these papers I'm bringing back. It's incredible how our lives are so documented. Oh, I found when we lived in Teaneck, when we were little, till I was 5 or 6. There was 2 different places. We lived in one place till I was 5. Well, I was born in Chicago. Hello, Brandon. I lived there till I was 2, and then we moved to Teaneck, which is across the George Washington Bridge from New York City. And then when I was 7, then we moved to Georgia. I guess I might have been 6 and turned 7. I was in grade 2. It was in 1963. But I thought I was the same year as the number. Anyway, I'm getting sleepy. Look at that. I'm starting to doze off. I guess entertaining myself with my many wrinkles. My skin is all melting off my body. It's because I got wet. You made a video on Soapstone. Yeah, I did. Oh, Soapstone Road. Oh, really? That's in Georgia, right? Up there by the place where you get cement. Like I got these cement things. One of them was a statue of Jesus holding a lamb, which is already back in Canada, or in Canada. And I got these two little pigs. One of them has a chip off his ear. Yeah, off 441. Isn't that cool? I love 441. I was thinking as I was coming down from Commerce, I was thinking, well, old 441, we used to take 441 all the way north from Athens before we had I-85. Yes, I am that old. And now they've changed 441, so it's a 4-lane road and it's pretty straight. But it used to be a mountain road. But I think it's up north of Commerce, where 441, where you have Tallulah Gorge, and Mary and I hiked down that gorge. And then we would hike the Appalachian Trail around there. There were no ticks. Oh, speaking of ticks. You see, that's as easy as it is to change subjects. Speaking of ticks, we saw deer. I was out there dumping the garbage, and a neighbor was out, and he was going to go for a walk. And he's not very well. He's had a stroke, and he's worried about his capacity as it is, and he was going to go for a walk, and so I thought I'll go for a walk too. He was going to go around the block. Well, of course, I thought around the block, but I didn't say that. I said, okay, let's do this. And it was kind of cold, but I didn't have a coat on, but I had my jacket, my mom's jacket. I've appropriated all of these clothes of my mom's. This is her bathrobe, and I wore her suit to church, and that's her dress. Check. I just bought one change of clothes. Aristocratic Order of Prussian Hunters. My teepee arson. Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was the teepee that was on, Stewart's Pottery. I missed you saying that. I was thinking when you said Soapstone Road, there was a video. Scarlett was making soapstone in Germany. She was carving it into things, and I carved a few things. I carved a little elephant and, keep it simple, sister. Good morning already? Katura, what a nice name. Katura. Now, Schwinke, is that a German name? So if it's morning, it's 10 o'clock here, 11, 12. Oh, hi. How are you, Marie? Nice to see you. Yes, I guess this is a good time to make a video, isn't it? Winding down. I like to go to bed and then lie in bed and do my stuff on the phone. And that way I don't sit in front of the TV and eat. Because if I go sit in front of the TV, I'll start eating. Yes, no, I don't live here. I'm just visiting. Oh, your husband is German. 2:50 a.m. Yes, it's going to be that here too, in another 4 hours. Hey, how can it be 10:50 when it's 10? No, it's 9:56 or something like that. Anyway, what did you just say? Oh, the soapstone. That's right. I was going to say that when I went to visit Scarlett years ago in Germany, she was working with soapstone, and I don't remember what she was making with it, but she had been carving it. And so I started carving it, and I brought home a couple pieces. I guess you can buy soapstone. My mom was into everything. Good night from Pennsylvania. Hey, you know what? I thought I always went to camp in Pennsylvania. I always thought that the camp I had gone to was in Pennsylvania because we sang the song, Pencil, Pencil, Pennsylvania. Oh, you know that show about, it's the one that's got Megan in it. Suits. I love that song. Good night, Katura. Sleep well. Thanks for speaking up, letting me know you're here. Interrupting yourself is a bad thing. If I had the CC on while I talked, then I could know what I'm saying. Do you think that would work? Oh dear. Well, it's been very nice visiting with everybody, but I guess it's been an hour and You know, it's fun to talk to you, isn't it? It's just fun to be with people. I love you guys so much. I'm so glad I've met so many of you. You know, when Willem and I went to Holland, in the same town in Vlaardingen where my mother-in-law lives, is is another girl. Oh my gosh, my friend Yadira just texted us. Her baby was just born. She's in the hospital. She was born at 7 p.m. today. Oh wow, I will be in the hospital. Oh, this is so cool. I'm going to go see her in the hospital. Good night, Melody. It's been nice seeing you. Ha. I went to that restaurant tonight. That was where Yadira used to work. She had her baby. How exciting. Oh, wow. She has 3 children now. She took care of my mom. We met her once when we were both we went to eat in a restaurant she lived in, or not lived in, but she pretty well did live there. But she asked me, she said, I want to take care of your mom or something. And so she was the girl that we hired. And she came every day and made lunch or made dinner and tidied up for mom. So she was there for about 3 hours a day, and she could only speak Spanish, and her English is pretty good now. She's from Honduras. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna let you go. Good night. See you again on the stream soon, Nancy. Bye, everyone. Goodbye, aristocratic order of pension hunters. Good knock. I remember when she took care of your mom. Oh, it was so special. She's such a sweetheart. I didn't get to see her when I was down last time. So I live in Canada, and I just came to Georgia because I had to do more stuff with this house. I had to, it's not my responsibility, but I'm trying to help my niece because it's a big thing on her shoulders. So I'm trying to get rid of stuff, and I'm going to take a truck home and pull my car. I will let you know how that goes. But I'm not going to do that yet. First, I'm going to go see Becky in Florida. So when I get the house empty enough, and I have only my stuff left there, I'll pack it all into the drawers of everything so it can all be loaded into the truck when I get back. And I think I'm going to wash the floors throughout the house, even though they're going to sell it as is. I don't know. So it would, anyway, blah, blah, blah. It's none of my business. But anyway, yes, I do like driving all over the place. I like getting in my car and getting on an interstate and just going. And when I see something interesting, I pull over and stop. And if I run out of day, I can either keep driving or I can go and pull into a rest area, sleep in my car. I haven't done that lately. Anyway, it's been very nice talking to you. So those of you that are into tomorrow, have a nice day today, and I hope it's a nice weather and everything. And for those of you that are having the same time zone as me, have a good night's sleep. And Marie, it's really nice to see you. I am an adventurer. Yeah, always shaking it up. Okay, night night. Love you all. Here's that button. I did I videoed Desmond and Maya. I'm not there. This is the week they're at the house, and I'm not there. But I got to talk to them on the video. That was cool. But it's data, you know. You got to be careful of that. All right. Goodbye. Oh, you saw it here last.